like as I sit here, I'm pretty sure I just switched Trevor Lawrence back in because I had Minshew in there for the last three. Yo, man,
It ain't feel right. It just didn't feel right. You can't
like
go out with
Minshew,
Lawrence. Like same token,
Minshew,
I
bro.
took, I took Lawrence out in the league about 3 hours ago, and quite honestly, I haven't looked at it again because it's like whatever. I made my decision, but I felt much better about my backup option than what you got. So
You got cousin.
hey,
Listen, I'm here with
hey,
my
hey, bro,
man's. We
bro,
are
bro,
back another
bro,
week
bro. No, no, no,
16.
no, no.
Let this,
Before,
this is a
forget,
quick
forget
intro.
introductions.
Week
Forget
16.
intros. No, no,
We
no.
here
Forget
semifinals
intros.
week.
I have Zach Wilson playing in a semifinal in bad weather, and he is the QB I trust most.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I don't know how I'm
We are
still in it.
here, man.
I do not know how I'm still in it.
Semifinals
I
week.
don't know.
Ooh, I'm in
Semifinals.
I'm in three semis. You're in seven? You in all seven?
Six or
Technically?
seven.
Six
I lost
semis.
last week. Yeah, no, no, because they said it was going to storm
They said
throughout the
you
game.
feel they said throughout the game for Jalen Waddle, bro. They
They
said throughout
said
the
through.
game for
Nobody
everybody.
said it was going to storm in the morning, and by game time, going to be completely clear and just cold. The field
No, it was
looked
just
immaculate.
cold.
Given
Clear,
what
yo,
happened, the
that
field
field
looked
looks so
immaculate. Like
pristine.
the field, like
I've
as soon as
never
I
seen
saw the
green like
opening
that.
kickoff. No, the thing is, I didn't actually check on any of this because it was. So I see it. I want to say it was the night game last week, right? Like I'm not tripping. It was the 8 o'clock game, 8:30 game. I want to say I got in just as the, or I was turned it on just as opening kickoff happened, and I literally audibly said,
Yeah.
where the fuck's all the snow?" Like I took Jalen Waddle out because y'all told me it was gonna be snowing throughout. I turned on the game. There's no snow. It looks cold. It looks cold, certainly,
It
but that
looked
field looked
cold.
pristine, bruh. I wasn't worried about footing. I wasn't worried about them cutting. It just looked cold. But because I took Jalen Waddle out,
You lose the
yeah,
league. You
I am
lose.
gone in
You
one league.
lose. It's just
It is what it
trash,
is.
man. But we are
It is
here
what it
to
is.
answer all these. This is the craziest weather week of football we've had in a very, very long time. During semifinals week, where there's some pain that's gonna come out here. Some start sit decisions that we've had to
Okay,
make
look, I need to make
that are
one point
coming.
about Week 16. I know that there are people who've done very well this year, not
Mhm.
having chosen a running back like the first 6 rounds of their drafts or not
Lord
spending much
Jesus.
on running backs, and God bless them.
You're gonna need running
This is
backs
where
today.
having elite running backs matters. This is why certain people don't let go of it because when it matters at playoff time, I feel look, I lost Jonathan Taylor. It sucks. I got Christian McCaffrey. Shit
Ooh.
still feels sweet. You feel me? Like if you were lining up with
He's
Eckler
playing
this
out in
week.
California,
No,
chilling
if
though.
you lining up with Eckler this week, you feel
Yeah,
good. No, I'm
right.
just saying for this time of year where the weather is
True.
bad everywhere and you're doubtful of players, you
Right.
got these bad. Like, dude,
You
you
got Nick
got
Chubb.
Derrick Henry. This Nick Chubb. I feel
Nick
less
Chubb in
good
that
about
game is
Nick
gonna
Chubb.
run 39 times. Don't
But is
like.
he going to score?
I
But
don't
is he
know.
going to score? That's the
I don't
thing. Nick
know.
Chubb.
We
That's the thing. You get you 115 yards. That's a great actual game. Nick Chubb, I fear, is going to fall into the Damian Pierce for the end of this year, where it's like, oh, he had 130 yards, but he didn't catch any passes or score. So it's like he was all right, even though in real life it's going to be a great football game. So
right.
this is where the running backs matters, in my opinion, having something that you know you can lean on when you really need it. So if you have one of those elite running backs, God bless. I wish you luck this week unless you're playing me.
All right. Listen.
What you doing?
uh,
Are you playing
I'm
Lawrence?
I'm checking the weather updates like I
So
got somewhere to be.
all
Like you
jokes
saying.
aside, do you want to give me a quick update? Because the fact that I'm playing Zach Wilson really makes me nervous. I feel nauseous. I did it last week, and he gave me a huge game, and I feel
Right
like that's the
now,
most I can ask of Zach because this dude's not good. B, he's so
right
not
now I'm
good.
looking at people saying They've got, people in the stadium. It's not as bad as they were saying. Rain has they said rain has stopped and the wind has died. I don't think the rain has stopped though. That feels like a lie. Be like
You know
it's
what? You know what? I'm in the semifinals with a terrible team. I'm gonna rock with it. I got to this
go.
point not doubting myself and just
I
riding it.
gotta go.
My phone is
Listen,
down. My phone is down.
here
My
we are,
phone is down. I'm
8:07.
good.
We are
I'm
gonna go
good.
through this slate together, man. We are gonna lock
Not
in
wait.
together.
Wait. So are you going Zach? I mean not Zach. Trevor? Or are you gonna go to
Thursday
Minshew?
night game, Jacksonville at New York Jets. Might as well just start there.
Are
Jacksonville,
you
the
playing?
Jets.
Look, if you don't have a better option than Lawrence, I would still be playing Lawrence. I've been very. I just think he's been the best quarterback in fantasy for a month now, which it feels weird
He's
to
been
say it,
so
but you look
good.
at the numbers, he's been the best quarterback in
He's
fantasy for
been
a month.
so good.
Depending on your scoring system, it might be Mahomes or it might be Hurts, but he is right there with those two over the last
Yeah.
month. You would not bench either of them based on the
They
weather at
have
this point in
they
the
have plenty
season.
of weapons. It's not about just Sauce Gardner who's locking down Marvin Jones or
No,
Zay,
it's a very
whoever's
good
over there.
defense. It's a very good
But
defense.
but it's Zay, it's Kirk, it's Bled and Butterhands who's looked wonderful the last few weeks.
Look, you had
It's
all that to
ETN
say
out of the
about that man. That's
backfield.
a top five fantasy tight end.
He's played
And you
really
were
well.
talking, you would talk,
He's played
he don't
he's
never
played
catch
well.
as usual. He
We
dropped
beat
it
him.
as usual.
He gonna beat us, so who cares? We got
You know what? What if he makes the playoffs and y'all don't? Because you had a lot to say about him going to trash ass Jacksonville. And at this point, I feel that
oh
the odds of them
oh
making the
we took care of
playoffs,
Washington and we all right, man. We took care of Washington. We should be okay. 8-8-1 might make it in that weak ass bottom of that NFC
I
bracket.
I no longer think 8-8. It could, it
It could.
could, but that doesn't
We need
make you
one more.
safe.
We need
That yeah,
one win.
you need one more.
We
Nine
need
gets
one
you
more
in.
win.
You need
We
one
need one
more.
more win. But it's about ETN out the backfield. They got Agnew who runs these weird routes. They've got a bunch of guys who I think they will scheme because I don't think they're gonna run ETN 35 times. He's not that guy.
I
They
think
have to
Trevor
throw
is
the
gonna.
ball.
I think Trevor's gonna have a fine game. I don't necessarily see a huge game from him given the defense,
Right.
but given what
All
he's
right.
done, look, given the
So
way he just carved up my Cowboys, I can't bench
he
him,
did.
even though I did bench him. But he did
You
just
just benched
carve
him.
up
What you
my.
mean you can't? You did.
I had a much better back. You know what? You know what? You know what? We're gonna do this live on screen. I don't
You
want
doing
to
this with
look.
me? You
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
this
yeah,
with
yeah. No, no, no.
me?
Zach Wilson is good. Zach Wilson is good. Zach Wilson is good. I'm gonna leave Zach
Right.
Wilson right where he
Trevor
is in
over
that one
Cousins
league.
though?
I'm gonna go Trevor. I got Cousins in 3 semifinals, and that just feels wildly
Yes.
uncomfortable. That just
He
feels
the
wildly
Giants are
uncomfortable.
going to get to him. You know what? We're getting out of order. Jacksonville.
But wait. Forget out
Let's
of
start
order.
here.
Let me get Lawrence in my lineup because
Okay.
it's been a very busy afternoon. So my
Okay.
apologies. All right,
So
I'm
I'm not
rocking
going to
with
ask you.
Lawrence.
So I'm
I'm
not going to
rocking
ask
with
you
Lawrence
Lawrence
in that
versus
one league.
Cousins. So I'm not going to ask
Um,
you Lawrence versus Cousins because you made that
I
choice.
think I think Cousins is a safer choice. This is a league where you're just like screw it. I think I have a better team, and I
Okay.
think I'm going to ride through this round regardless.
Okay.
Quite honestly, if this were a closer matchup or one that I felt more nervous about, if
Hmm.
if my opponent happens to be watching, that's just how I feel about the
It is
matter.
what it is.
Um, it is what it is. I look at rosters and I just think I got you beat. Um, I think
You go
Cousins is a
low.
safer
Okay.
choice. Is a
I do.
safer choice. I think that Lawrence. Look, the thing is,
Lawrence. You know what?
Lawrence.
Lawrence or Tom Brady this week. Tom Brady's playing against the Cardinals this week.
That
Do you go
team
Lawrence or Brady?
stinks.
I
That
think they
team
do.
stinks.
Right.
Um, I go Lawrence, but it's also very much like the Cousins thing. I think Brady is a touch safer. I feel very secure in their floors versus their matchups. I see a scenario where Trevor legitimately comes out tonight and stakes his
Just
claim as
runs
a top
around
eight
and goes
quarterback.
crazy.
He stakes his claim as a top eight quarterback where everybody's talking
Yeah.
about the Jets defense, and I think he could play very well. As you said, he has what? Look, the
Lawrence or
Cowboys gave
Minshew?
up a lead that shouldn't have happened, but
They
Trevor
did.
Lawrence made some unbelievable throws on Sunday. The sort of
Right.
throws where it's like, oh, this is what y'all were talking about back in Clemson when I
I get it
personally was
now.
like, is he that much better than Fields? Like, I thought he was better. I just didn't think the gap was that big. He made the sort of throws the other day where I watched each and every throw of that game, and it was just like, some of these are just dimes. Like there's nothing you can do
Yes,
about it. So
he's legit. He's legit.
he's legit.
Uh,
He's legit.
do you
He's
go
been the
Lawrence
best
or
for a
Gardner
month now.
Minshew? Let's just ask it. Lawrence or
Lawrence,
Minshew?
I don't think that's a debate.
Don't
I'm
play
very
with it, right?
look. Don't overthink to
Don't play
don't
with
get
it.
cute in the semifinals. Like if you've made it to
It's
this
me and
point,
Trevor.
chances
Trevor got
are
me here, man.
you have a core of players.
Trev
You
got
better
me
have
here,
a
man.
damn good reason for benching one of your core players in the
Gardner
semifinal.
Minshew
You
ain't.
better have
It's
a
not that
damn
reason.
good reason.
Let's go, Trev. Oh my God, let's go, Trev. Um, on the opposite side of the ball. Well, no, actually, let's stay on that side of the ball. ETN, I think ETN is going to touch the ball more than he has because obviously getting him the ball is going to be paramount. Shorter passes, getting him, like not running him into that line, but shorter passes. I think ETN touches the ball
I
5 times more than usual
I I
today.
bet I bet the under on his rushing yards. I
Did
bet the
you?
under on his receiving yards.
Well, I have him in that same Trevor league, so this is going to be a blast
So
tonight watching all this nonsense.
here's the thing with ATN. He is a very, very good, very talented player. One that I felt really good about in the preseason. That it almost seemed
Right.
nonsensical how high I was on him. That being said, I always wanted him to be the lead back. I never thought he was ideal for a workhorse load. And the
Right.
way he has slowed down over the last month looks like a guy who is just exhausted because he really should be a 15 to 18 touch guy. Once you had him in the 22 to 25 touch range, he
He
was
started to
incredibly
look stupid
productive,
hard.
but he didn't look as explosive. He didn't
Yep,
look as fast. And this Jets front seven is real.
they are.
Um, I think that will work also in the passing game. Like you're going to catch but so many of those little short swing passes before they
Right.
lock that. So
Right.
I just don't think this is a big ATN game unless he scores, which is obviously possible. If he scores, he
It
scores,
is.
but I can't really count on him scoring.
That's fair. That's fair. As far as pass catchers, I whoever Sauce is gonna be like whoever's on that side, no. But they move those guys around
They move
enough.
everybody around a good
They,
amount,
they
and
move
he's got
those
to throw
guys
to
around
somebody.
enough. He
Um,
does.
I'm playing Kirk. I
Here's
feel like if
another
this
one. Kara Minshew.
now
We
that's
might.
a damn good question. Now that I
I
feel is a
so
damn good
here's the
question. I think
thing.
I'm riding with
I
Minshew. I think I'm riding with
hate Derek
Minshew,
Carr this week. I hate Derek Carr this week. Derek
but
Carr
I
doesn't
love
like the
Josh
cold, bro.
Jacobs this week. But I
He
love Josh
hates.
Jacobs
I
this week.
love
I
Josh
love
Jacobs this
Josh
week.
Jacobs this week. Oh, I love Josh
Oh,
Jacobs this
I
week.
love Josh Jacobs this week.
Uh,
Josh Jacobs
I'm
is gonna.
riding. I'm riding
Yeah,
Minshew. I'm riding Minshew
I
over
think so
Carr.
too. I
Here's the
think so
thing.
too.
So everybody's freaked out about Philly because Jalen Hurts has been a freaking superhero, and he became the presumptive MVP.
Right.
The thing about it is Dallas has a good defense, not an elite defense. And the thing that happens with good defense is not elite defense. You take a couple pieces out, and they go from good to above average. Right now, I feel like Dallas, without their number two corner, actually, let me be more specific. Without their number two and their number three corner, they're both gone for the
Right.
season. They're both gone. And I know that Micah is a linebacker, but the role he plays for this team is not that of a traditional linebacker. Leighton Vander Esch really has played well this year,
Right.
and everything in Jacksonville fell apart right as Leighton Vander Esch got hurt the other day. That is not a coincidence. The middle of that field was just wide open once he was gone. Philly is going to attack that area. If Minshew's being asked to make 6 to 8 yard throws and give those weapons space and allow them to run with it, I think that can be very successful this week.
Right.
I think Minshew can get you 18 to 20 points. I'm just not playing him over Trevor Lawrence. But Derek
Yeah.
Carr, I don't feel good. He's getting you 18 to 20 points this week.
I don't
So
either.
I'm riding with
I don't
Minshew.
either. I agree. Other side of the ball for the Jets. You know, obviously, I don't want to play Zach Wilson, so don't play Zach Wilson unless you have to. Unless you have zero choice, you have zero choice. I know. I know
No,
this
I
is not
have
what you.
choices. I have choices. They're
Oh
just
yeah.
equally
Please tell the world
terrible.
your other choices.
All right, so this is a super flex league, which essentially serves as a two quarterback league for all intents and purposes if you're doing it right. And I got Zach Wilson, Nick Foles.
Oh my
Um,
god.
Geez, who else do I got? I'm completely spacing out, but it's not good. Zach Wilson. McSorley.
McSorley.
And funny enough, the quarterback who I have been riding with all year is Andy Dalton, who has been good for me this year. I don't like the matchup. I don't like the
I can't
weather. I
wait till
don't
we
like
get to
that his
that game.
weapons are missing.
Goodness.
So yeah, and as you can see, I'm down bad in that league, but I'm in the semifinals
But you're
because
in the
that's what I
semis.
do. Because I
It's in
can
the
maneuver.
semis.
This is what I do. I can't give y'all all my tricks, but just know that I'm very good at this. I'm very
I
good at
don't.
this.
Yeah, I don't like Zach. Obviously.
Why
The
would you?
only.
The dude sucks.
The only.
He's terrible at football. Like
The only pass catcher I like, um, on the Jets side is like Corey Davis, kinda, because
nah,
Zach just
Garrett
throws the ball
Wilson.
to Corey.
Nah, I'm still riding with Garrett Wilson because he's just too talented. Look,
I
if I
get it,
can put
but
him at a flex, Zach Wilson's not good, man.
he's
I
not
feel I
good, bro.
regret this decision already. Why am I
Donovan
just playing
Knight.
Dalton
I don't
in
like
bad
any.
weather? Why am I
I
not
like the
just
Jags
Why am I
defense
not just playing Dalton in bad weather? Because dude, Zach Wilson about the room.
because
I'm filled
Dalton
with
is going to be
regret.
throwing into 35-mile-an-hour winds and 50-mile-an-hour gusts. That's why.
Without Olave or Landry. They're
Or
both out.
Landry. Can't wait till we get that. I
So
got the take. I got the takey takes when we get to that one. Basically that's it for this game, man.
Jawan
Like I don't.
Johnson is tight end 3 this week. Yeah, I think it might
Mm-mm,
be.
nah, wait till we get there. But we're gonna
Oh,
start.
oh, okay.
We're gonna.
All right, yeah.
But
We'll see where we
but
get there. Yeah.
but we're gonna start in this Buffalo on Saturday, Christmas Eve. Buffalo at Chicago. This is
Look,
gonna be fun as
I'm.
hell.
There's a chance that I will not watch a single snap of football until like 9 o'clock, which means I'm going to be a few hours behind the Dallas game most likely. So this is going to be interesting because I literally can't mess with my phone for all of Saturday afternoon with all of these playoff
Right.
matches. None of it. I can't. I can't. Does that say that Lawrence just fumbles?
Sure
Awesome.
did. Zach
Awesome.
fumbles.
That's
All right.
that's -2. That's
All
fine.
right. It's not the best start,
Nah,
but we're gonna figure
nah,
this
it's
out.
not. Like I can't even.
I've never I've never felt like while laughing like something was cutting out of me. Like this shit is weird. It's an odd feeling right now going on in my chest. It's a
uh,
weird feeling going on in my chest right now. Oh
hey,
my
hey, hey.
god.
You know what? I'm gonna look at
It's
this as
early.
a glass. I'm gonna look at this glass half full. Yo, Zach,
It's
go get you
early.
a touchdown on the board, baby. Go get you a touchdown pass right now. Short field. It
Oh,
should be a
throw a
short
pick
field
six.
anyway.
Oh, dang. It is
No,
at the
hey,
16.
yeah, go get you a touchdown, Zach. Trevor, you can
What?
get it back later. You don't got to worry about Zach. Let Zach cook. Why are you rooting against Zach? You literally
Not
have
on the.
no reason to. You have no reason to root
I
against
got
this
the
man.
Jacksonville defense in this league. I care about too much too, man. That's why.
Oh, you went big on this game.
I
You
did,
went
man.
real big on this game.
I did, yo.
Oh, that's
I'm invested.
uncomfortable.
I'm invested. I'm
That's
invested.
uncomfortable. Truly, yes.
Whatever,
God
bro. It's
bless.
gonna be alright. It's gonna be fine.
Uh,
It's gonna be
will it?
fine.
Will it?
First drive of the game. Zach fumble. What? Come on, Gus. What game are we on? Buffalo and Buffalo and the motherfuckers, man. Buffalo and the
uh,
Bears. Um,
Buffalo,
it's supposed to
but
be. It's supposed to be super cold. Supposed to get some wind, but don't get. It's Stephon Diggs. You play
you're playing
Diggs.
Josh. You're playing
Josh, you
Diggs.
don't worry about. Josh is a yeti. He plays everywhere.
I think you're playing Dawson Knox.
I
I
think
think
you're
you're playing
playing Knox,
Knox.
and I think you're benching Gabe Davis.
I think that
100.
if you were still playing at this point, you've probably benched Gabe Davis, or you have a really, really good roster around him.
Basically, that's fair
I had
enough.
to get out. Like I was the Gabe Davis guy in the preseason, but there was a point where it's just like I had to get out everywhere. Like,
Right.
nah.
That's fair. On the other side of the ball, Fields, like these are bad throwing conditions, and he isn't exactly the greatest thrower already.
Fields gonna run for 180 or something
He's going
crazy
to
this
run a
week.
lot,
He is going to run a lot. Like
like a lot. I like David
I,
Montgomery in this game.
Herbert's coming back this week, and I don't know what that means for the split because it is his first game back.
I feel like they
But
even
I
out.
remember what the split looked like before he got hurt,
Right.
and
It
it was
definitely.
very
Yeah,
50-50 ish, with Herbert looking like the better running back, to be quite honest with you. So
I agree.
in this trash league, I have David Montgomery this week as well. Look, this team is bad, B, but I'm still here. Um, Shout out to IDPs, Jordan Brooks. You are a superhero, dog. I love you, man. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. No.
Eh,
Nobody else. I just feel like this is a game Buffalo's going to really dominate, but Fields is just going to run around everywhere.
Fields is going to get his Montgomery. If you got him and you want to play him, that's fine.
Yep.
If depending on how bad you are tight end, you might play Cole Kmet. But if you have a better option, play that better option.
Yeah. Agreed. New Orleans at Cleveland is supposed to be one of the worst weather games we've had in about 10 years, they said.
If it's up to me, I'm not playing anyone on either side other than Nick Chubb.
Basically. Like
That's where I
Kamara,
am.
I guess.
Kamara, you have to play. I will be playing
Yeah.
Kamara, but Kamara's value is so inherently, or it's so tied into him being a pass catcher, and I'm not sure what he's going to do as a pass catcher. So
Agreed. Agreed. Other than that, no one except for Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is about to get all these weirdo touches that you don't have. Listen, you don't have Olave, you don't have Jarvis. They're going to run the ball a ton because no team's going to be up. This is going to, like, they might. I feel like they're about to go
they had the ball at the 16
student
yard line,
option.
and
le-
Zach got me negative points. This dude sucks, B. This dude is trash. I get the
I
ball
th-
at the 16 and I
when
got
they go,
negative
listen,
points because all you did was took a
this
sack.
is
This dude's
pain, bro.
trash. Why
They
do
can,
I why do I do this to myself?
I don't
Why
know,
do I do
man.
this to myself? Zach Wilson.
Should
Like
have
I
been
don't know
Minshew,
he
man.
sucks at football.
Trevor
Like I
about to
don't know
start
he
cooking
sucks
though.
at football. He better. He better.
Student body right is coming with Taysom. It's just coming. Like they're just gonna run. Taysom's gonna have 15, 16 carries. He's gonna throw the ball 4 or 5 times. They're gonna
Funny
try to get
enough,
him some screens.
forget the throws. Forget the throws. Just in conditions like this, a physical runner like Taysom, I don't
Yeah,
know how much he can withstand, but 12 to 15 carries is
come on.
probably in New Orleans Saints' best interest. Whether they do it or not, who knows? That team is weird. That division is weird. They can all still win it. I
I think
I
it's
don't know what to
coming,
make of
man.
anything. I
I think it's
don't know what to
coming.
make of any of it.
Can you start him with confidence? Of course, I don't know. I mean, depending on who your tight ends
No,
are, throw him in at
no,
tight end
no,
slot.
no. You can't. No, you can't because at this point, everybody's off by. You should have a safer option. But if you know you are outmatched in a semifinal and you got to do a dart throw, they're worse than
Don't
Taysom
taste him,
Hill.
man. I agree, 100%. Don't taste him, man. Yeah, I don't want to start anyone else. I think Watson hasn't been good, and I don't think he's gonna be good. Um,
Watson being trash has brought me
it
such
makes me
joy.
so happy. It makes me so happy. It really does. Watson being bad is just joyful. Um, yeah,
Hey, hey, hey,
Nick Chubb,
hey, hey.
Kamara.
This look. I'm just waiting for a reporter to be like, "So why have you been struggling?" It's like, you know what? I've been feeling really tense lately.
Like go full heel. Go full
Yeah,
heel, bro.
just lean into it, dude. Just so I can hate you even more. I,
Go
I,
full
I hate.
heel.
But all
He's
jokes
a horrible
aside,
human being.
he does look very stressed out on that field, and I
He
hope
does.
he's fucking miserable. I hope he's miserable.
He just
That
got
team scored
200
like 13
million
points, and
guaranteed.
this man took the game ball. Man, I hate him. I
And
dislike
looked
that
up.
dude.
Like, all right, bro. Whatever. Please be terrible
He ain't
still.
looking back at you, homie. He ain't looking back at you.
He's not. He's not. Look down. Houston at Tennessee. Have you seen Derrick Henry's last 4 games against Houston? Like what he's
I
done?
have. Mm-hmm.
Last 4 games, he's averaged 200 yards and 2 touchdowns against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Averaged. He's
Yep.
gotten 202 at least in every single game. I don't see it. I don't see it
He's not
changing.
getting that. No. He's not getting that this week.
Well, he's not getting 202,
He's,
but we got a monster Derrick Henry game coming because Malik Willis is not it, man.
so
Malik Willis,
that's the thing. Malik Willis is not it to the point that I think we're going to see 9 and 10 man boxes and them legitimately be like, y'all ain't throwing this. Like, legitimately, y'all are not throwing this.
Malik
And
Willis is
honestly, this is
terrible,
the
bro.
other thing. I never feel good when the center's missing. I never feel good when a team's
That's
center.
fair.
There are more important positions in terms of moving people, in terms of opening holes, but in terms of setting that protection, setting the blocking scheme, you not having your center in a game where a rookie quarterback is making his second career start, the combination of those two things really, really worry me.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's fair. That's very fair. Yeah, I don't want to start any. There's no
But
one
I'm
in this
starting
game I
Derrick
want to
Henry. Just to
start
be clear,
besides
I am
Henry.
absolutely starting Derrick Henry. Yes,
You know what?
and
I can see Tennessee's pass defense is horrible. Looks like Brandon Cooks is back. He's gonna play, practice in full most of this week. So it looks like he's
I don't.
gonna play.
So what? So what? What has Brandon Cooks done this year
Somebody's
where
I don't
where you feel comfortable playing him in a
nothing.
semifinal? Where you feel comfortable
Nothing,
with him?
man. Nothing.
Like if you
Nothing.
gotta play him, you gotta play him. I actually think I'd rather play Chris Moore this week than Brandon Cooks, but that's where I am
I would
with
like
it
to play
because
Chris Moore as well. I agree. I'm there. I
I feel a
actually
lot
might play
better
Chris
about the
Moore
target share he's
in the
going to get.
Christmas game because Olave's out.
About I feel a lot better about the
Sadness.
target share he's going to get this week.
I'm gonna go into a sadness induced coma when I look at this lineup that I'm gonna set on Saturday. This is not the move, but
It is what
it
it is.
happens, man. It is what it is. Let's go to a game where we're gonna start some people. Seattle at Kansas City. Um, Kansas City can get thrown on. So we'll start on Seattle ball. You can throw in Kansas City. No
So
Lockett.
I'm
Obviously
starting
DK is big
DK.
time. You're gonna start
I'm
Gino.
starting assuming Walker is playing. It sounds like he's playing. I'm going to start
It sounds
Walker.
like Walker's gonna play. What do you feel about
Starting
Marquise Goodwin?
Gino goes back to the what are you playing for at this point in the season? Because generally speaking, if you are in a semifinal, I assume that you have a pretty decent roster.
I agree.
Unless if you have an injury concern, I would think that if you are still playing at this point for something that matters, you have a better option than Goodwin. Same token, I feel really good about Goodwin going ahead and getting you 10 to 12 points this week. So if
Agreed.
you do have an injury, I think he's a very, very good flyer off waivers. But hopefully you have a better option if you're still playing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair. Um, looking on the looking on the other side, Pat, of course, Kelsey, of course,
hmm
McKinnon and
McKinnon,
Pacheco.
of
I think
course.
you can both get
McKinnon
on.
isn't of McKinnon isn't of
McKinnon feels like an
course.
of course. He's been RB1
Pach-
2 straight weeks.
Pacheco feels like what are your flex options? So
Okay.
if you need to play him, I'm good with playing him. He's not an automatic start for you right now because him having a great week is far too touchdown dependent from my liking. Like I
That
think
is
he
fair.
will have a good week. Like I think 85 yards rushing on say 20 carries is a good week of football, and
It
fantasy
is.
football has skewed our views on these things.
Yep.
But from a fantasy standpoint, that's not doing but so much for you. So as long as McKinnon is getting the lion's share of this pass game work, Pacheco is very touchdown dependent. So for me, it's one of a what are my options? I'm not against playing him, but it depends on what options I have available to me. Like
Right.
if I have Pacheco or I have Tyler Boyd in flex, I would rather play Tyler Boyd, for example. So
Okay.
it depends on what I have available to me.
That's supposed to be temperature wise the coldest game. Cold, but no precipitation is much different from cold and precipitation or
hmm
wind or anything. But it being that cold, it is going to affect some things. I think the run game is going to be more, which is why I like Pacheco. I think I like Pacheco a little bit more than you do. I love Walker in there. Tackling somebody when it's that cold is not fun. And Walker, I think, is going to be able to produce and do okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's all it is there.
That's fair.
Here we are. We are good old Giants, man. Biggest win we've had in a very long time, and a must-win game. And now we
What
go.
do the Giants have left? What do the Giants? I know they have Vikings this
Giants
week. They
have
have
Giants have
Eagles week
Vikings, and then at
18. Who's
Colts,
in the
and
middle?
then Eagles. Colts.
I'm sorry, who's the second? Okay,
Colts.
so in theory, long as y'all could go ahead and beat Nick Foles, you're good to go. In theory.
In theory, yes. In
All right,
theory.
fair enough.
Um, the
I
Vikings
think
have
that this is
the
a
Vikings have shown that they can be that they play around with their food. And I don't think the Vikings are bad. They're just not
no.
nearly as dominant as their record shows.
So the Vikings are in a weird place where they have an actively bad defense. That defense is not good. That
Right.
defense is not good. Their offense, when it's hitting, it looks unstoppable because Justin Jefferson is just that good.
He's
And then you
he's
also have Dalvin Cook. So it's one of those things where you have two legitimate, from a talent standpoint, top 5 to 7 at their position, just from a talent standpoint, sort of guys.
yep.
If it's clicking, it looks great. I
Jefferson's
think
about to
this is a
fry us.
I think this is a very big game for New York. And I know that you would
It
probably
is.
say no because you have the
No,
Colts
no, I
thing,
think it is. No,
but
I think it is.
you win this game and you start feeling really good about yourself going into the
100%.
playoffs. And
100.
confidence at this time of the year matters a lot. And there's an instance where these two teams are playing again in a month. And
I
if the
feel like this
Giants go
game is
in
bigger.
feeling like they already beat Minnesota and they're like,
Right.
yo, we can get these
Right.
guys, it's the sort of thing that legitimately matters. So I think this is a big game for the Giants. They at least have to play well. They can't go
They
in
have
and
to
get
play well.
stomped against a
We
legitimate team. They
can't.
need to go in and play
I
well.
agree. I agree.
And I'm
I
encouraged by last week. I thought last week they looked the most confident they've looked in the last month.
the long drive at the end of the first half where you had to go in and get points. The way Thibodeau is starting to look like a legit dominant force. The way Dexter Lawrence is starting to
Dexter
look
Lawrence
like a
is
dominant force.
he looks like a top 5 interior defensive lineman
He
right now.
does. He
Like he
does.
looks great right now.
Not having a Dory or McKinney is going to be tough because Jefferson is going to be running around out there against people who can't cover him. But that's every single week, basically. So
If y'all were playing at
Jefferson,
8:30, I'd feel so good about this game for y'all, but it's at like 1 o'clock. I feel
yeah,
so good about if it were in prime time. Then
yeah.
again, Daniel Jones never been good in prime time other than last week
Listen,
either.
man, he
So
was
you
good
know, you
last
never know.
time. I'll take it.
Fair enough.
Jefferson is going to obviously playing Jefferson. I think he's wide receiver one on the week because we can't. We have nothing for him. We've got nothing. We've got nothing for
Um,
him.
I off the top of my head, I have no problem with him being ranked number one. I have
Yeah.
not gone through my rankings with the same vigor this week that I normally would. It's just been busy,
Okay.
Christmas and whatnot.
Christmas and
Um,
whatnot. But yeah,
but yeah, I got no problem
Jefferson,
with that.
Hawkinson, I like because I think they're going to scheme Hawkinson. He's another guy who
Hawkinson,
we
he's
don't have
fine.
great linebackers. I think though, I think he's going to be able to be okay.
Tight end
Um,
sucks. So unless if you got Kelsey, honestly, at this point, well, it used to be unless you got Kelsey or Andrews. At this point, right now, it's like unless you got Kelsey, whatever. So you can
whatever,
throw in
man.
Hawkinson and Andrews.
Apparently,
They're
Evan Ingram is creeping up there because he's been
they.
really good.
I would still put them in their own separate category,
Yeah,
but that category is so much further down than I would have thought it would have been like 6 weeks
yeah,
ago. So
yeah,
is what it is.
100%. Dalvin, obviously you're going to play. Dalvin looks wonderful.
He
Um,
does.
where you at with this KJ Osborne thing? Do you think it's a thing, or do you think they were just down 33-0 and they had to throw the ball and whoever was open was getting the rock?
He's had double figure targets for 2 straight weeks.
Okay,
That should not be ignored. And what it looks like, at least the last couple weeks, he is the number 2 target in that offense in the passing game. Do I think he's going to get 10 targets this week? No, I don't think he's going to get 10 targets this week. That being said, I legitimately thought he looked better than Adam Thielen last week. So
I
it
agree.
would shock me if he is the number 2 wide receiver. I have picked him up in a couple leagues, but it's the semifinals. I didn't get here by having a trash roster, except in that one league. I just had better options.
Right.
So if you got to play him, I got no problem playing him, but you can't go in expecting 20 points from KJ Osborne.
Yeah.
But if you really just want to make sure you're going to get 8 to 10 from the flex spot, you had an injury or something like that, and you just want to make sure you're not getting a dud, I don't think you're going to get a dud. I think that
I agree.
his floor is a solid 8 to 10 points, which can be useful depending on what you have elsewhere.
It can be. On the Giants side, we mentioned that Minnesota defense, it's not good. I think Daniel Jones is going to be okay. I think Daniel Jones is going to run. He's going to get back to the running. We're going to see 40, 50 yards rushing out of Daniel Jones. And you can throw on him. I think this is a Darius Slayton game to where I think you can put him there. And I think you can have some interesting
I
Darius
hope so.
Slayton moves here.
Look, I hope so because I got to play him in one league. So let's hope. I don't
Yeah.
feel great about it.
And you're queuing up Saquon because he's Saquon. He's back. So obviously you're queuing up
He's
Saquon
looked
there.
great the last couple weeks. He's looked
Um,
great the last couple
KJ
weeks.
Osborne or Darren Waller at the flex.
Hmm.
Um,
I think
I
I
don't
feel
like
better
Carr this
about
week.
Osborne. I feel better
I
about
don't like
Osborne
Carr.
now.
I really don't. I really don't like Carr this week at all. Carr hate like there are some people who don't deal with the cold well. Derek Carr has been horrible in cold weather, and we've got enough of a sample size, and it's going to be at Pittsburgh. Franco Harris, rest in peace, Franco Harris. It's going to be like the energy in that building is going to feel different. It's going to be super cold. They're going to play out of their minds. Derek Carr hasn't been targeting Devontae, so I think maybe Waller starts to get a few more looks. But Waller would have been terrible last week without that touchdown.
Well, yeah,
Um,
he caught what 3 balls for 25 or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I
like
mean, one is a
that
touchdown, so
touchdown
the
was very
game looks
connected.
fine. Yeah, one is a touchdown, so the game looks fine. But I mean,
Right,
I feel better about Osborne. That's just me.
I agree. Cincinnati at New England.
I
Is
think
the
this
New
game is
England
really
loss
interesting.
last week the dumbest loss you've ever seen? Because you had the Leon Lett
So,
mattered to you, but Leon Lett was a
so
big man. Listen, if I
it
play
was done.
football, I'ma celebrate
He
going
was
into the end zone.
clumsy.
That's me.
He
You know
was
what I'm saying?
he was not. Oh, you talk about Leon Lett. I'm sorry. I was thinking about what was the guy on Thanksgiving versus the. Why am I blinking out on dude's name?
On
Doesn't matter.
Thanksgiving,
Wait, was that Leon too? Was that
Leon
Leon
Lett was
too?
Leon too.
No, that was that Leon too.
No, yeah.
No,
Leon tried to recover the fumble.
when he tried to pick up the block kick, it was the block kick, and then he kicked it again, and then Miami got to kick another one because it was
I think that
snowing
was
in
also
Dallas
Leon
on
Lett.
on Thanksgiving.
I think that was also Leon
Damn.
Lett. I think that was.
Funny thing is, he was a really good player. He just
He
had
really
some
was,
real
yo.
bonehead moments. But shout out to my guy Leon Lett. He was actually an integral player to that dynasty. Like, don't hold your head, dude. We won that Super Bowl. We won both those Super Bowls anyway. So if they
Yeah,
hating on it, let them hate.
those
Um,
Dallas teams were disgusting.
they
Um,
were. It was great. Those were the days. We ain't won shit since then.
God,
We
I
ain't won a.
hated it. Shit. But are we looking at the worst loss? Because how do you like? So here's the thing. It's not just the
The,
fact that they ran this play. It's not just the fact. Hold on. It's not just the fact
they
that they
were
were doing well.
tied. Why are you
It's
doing
not
this?
even.
Why are you
Hold on. It's
doing
not even
this?
just the fact that they
For
were tied.
who? For what?
Hold on.
Why?
It's not
Like,
even the
if they
fact
were
they were
down,
tied.
I'd be good with
This
it.
is the fact.
But they were
This is where I
tied.
am. This is where I am. It's the fact that Jacoby Myers turned around, said, "That's Mac Jones. I'm gonna wing this 30 yards to Mac. Mac gonna
Now,
run this in."
here's what bothered me. Here's what bothered me. You know it's a fumble if you don't catch it right. Like, everybody has basically celebrated the fact that Chandler Jones just caught it out the air and took it. But what if the throw was just? What if Mac just can't catch? What if the throw was a little behind him? Like, forget the scenario that actually played out. There were very few scenarios that would have, like, what were they hoping to accomplish there? Just down the ball, go to overtime. What are we doing? It's a
The Mac
tie
Jones,
game.
the Mac Jones tackle was atrocious. Like he looked like
You know, he
Mac
got
Jones looked
he
like he
got
was trying to draw.
disrespected. He
He
got
looked like he was trying to throw a
disrespected.
roughing the passer on a lateral. Like he was just, it's just,
But it's like, I
uh,
don't want to call it the worst loss. I just
it's the
can't think,
dumbest.
like, it's the dumbest because, like, the the Stephon Diggs catch against the Saints in the playoffs. If I'm a
That's
Saints
bad.
fan, that's a worse loss. That is absolutely
Right.
a worse loss.
It's
Like,
not.
I
It's
am
not the
not
dumbest.
sleeping that night. But it's
Yes,
not
it's not.
dumb. It's just a great player made an awesome play.
Yes.
Marcus Williams didn't play the angle right in the air. Shit
Right.
happens. It's football. That wasn't shit happens. Y'all planned for this. Y'all talked about this, and we're like, yeah, that's the idea. Hey,
Jacoby
but as a
had to know.
Ramondre, Having Ramondre in a couple places, I appreciate
Ramondre
that
was
30,
so
35
good,
yards he
man.
got right there.
Ramondre
Yo,
might Ramondre might be my favorite fantasy like sleeper call ever because he's unbelievable. And I think he's gonna be really good for a while. Oh god, Ramondre's so good. Um, but other than Ramondre, I'm not starting a soul against Cincinnati.
nope.
Not one other human. On the other
Cincy,
side,
I am starting. The Patriots have a good defense. I respect that they have a good defense.
hmm
I think that the
this is very true.
offense is not.
This is
I
very true.
personally am playing just about everybody.
Here's
You're playing Joe Burrow, you're playing Chase, you're playing Higgins, you're playing
right.
Mixon. If you
Here's my
want to
question
play
with
P
Mixon.
Ryan, I would not. I would not put. I,
How
st-
how nervous
I'm
about
still.
Mixon are we with the usage that has been going on?
I can't decide if that is a sign of things to come or a fact that they're trying to bring him back slowly from that concussion. I have not been able to decide. I'm still playing Mixon because at this point of
Okay.
the season, I am not benching people who legitimately had a very large part in me getting to this point in the season. I'm not
Fair.
benching them unless I'm given an incredibly compelling reason at this point. That's just how I'm going to play it. I have outthought
Okay.
myself plenty over the years and ended up second because of it. This year, I've decided I'm just going to ride my best players. And if I lose with my best players, so be it. I can live with
And just
that.
me figure it out.
I can live with that.
Uh, Detroit at Carolina is next. Two teams. Well, one team who's
This is
legitimately in the
no. This
playoff
is a
run,
huge. No. This is
and
a,
then
no.
another
No. No. No.
team
No.
who's in the division championship run
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that
Like
division is horrible.
this is a huge game. I think Detroit's good. I'm there with Detroit. I think they're
I
good.
think I
I
do.
remember I remember Thanksgiving watching that game versus the Bills and thinking, are the Bills bad or have the Lions started to figure some shit out? And since then, it's been very clear the Lions have begun to figure some shit out. Like their defense isn't necessarily good, but it is no longer atrocious. Like if you just look at the last month and a half, their defense has been pretty decent for the most part.
Yeah.
I I feel more confident in the Lions players that I'd be starting this week as far as starting Goff. Goff is a true I'm starting him. Amon Ra. The run game, I don't really know what to do with that run game right now.
Swift is starting to get more touches, which takes
He
Williams
is.
away, and Williams is very touchdown dependent when you look
He
at it. Like
is.
it's just
He's
you know
incredibly
that
touchdown
matters.
dependent.
Yeah, 100%.
So I
Um,
don't know what to do with
I
those running backs.
I weirdly like Carolina in this game because I know Carolina had a dud
Uh,
last week. I think Carolina can win this game.
it's also one of those things like, are the Lions really going to win five straight and 7 of 8? Like, and that's not disrespecting the Lions, but it's like, are they really about to
It's
win
just
7 of 8? They're still
they're
the
still the
Lions.
Lions. They're
They're
still the
still the
Lions.
Lions, being led by
Um,
Jared Goff. And I just said I would start Goff, but if Jared Goff goes Jared Goff, whatever,
yeah.
he's Jared Goff. So
Here's what I will say: I don't like Deontay Foreman. Um,
he's
Horrible
too
game last
touchdown
week. It's
dependent.
not going to be
He's too.
there, but
Chuba's
yeah,
getting more work. That's the other
yes,
thing. Chuba's been getting
I
more
don't
work,
like
and he's
Foreman at
actually
all.
been looking decent. He's actually been looking
DJ Moore,
decent.
I do like though. DJ Moore, I think he's going to have a
DJ
good game.
DJ Moore has been nothing but rock solid as a fantasy player when Sam Darnold is the quarterback. This dates
Agreed.
back to last year when Darnold was around. DJ looked decent, not great all the time, but he was always a large target monster. He just gets
Agreed.
targets with Darnold's around, and that's what I want.
Yep,
Give me targets. I will hope that you can figure it out from there.
I think that's fair. Atlanta at Baltimore is supposed to be another cold game, and this is very simple for me. I'm going to keep mine simple. Start J.K. Dobbins because I think he's asserted that, and don't start any other human in this league. I don't like anyone else. Huntley is hurt.
If you
Andrews,
want
I
to
guess you
start,
have to play if Andrews is
if you
playing.
want, like Andrews, it's one of those things where you have to play him. You're not going to have an option you feel better about. As far as Dobbins, if that is your best option, that's fine. I'm not as confident in him as you are, though. He definitely is the guy in that offense.
He's the guy now, yeah.
That offense without Lamar, I still find to be trash, which is why I think they should pay Lamar. I
100%.
don't think Lamar, don't step foot on that field. I don't care if you feel 100%. You need to call them and be like, see what happened to Kyler? But Kyler feels good that he got his 230 though. Kyler got
No,
his 230. Look, Lamar at this point isn't guaranteed the franchise tag. Like, what if something
no,
catastrophic happened? He's not guaranteed anything next year.
that's fair.
I'm not coming back. And that
That's
offense
fair.
without Lamar looks bad. So my feeling on this game is this: from a fantasy standpoint, I hope you are able to ignore this entirely. I am in
Yeah,
7 leagues. I don't have one player from this game playing in any of those 7 leagues.
I don't either.
Not one. From a fantasy standpoint, this game can be ignored. At least for me. From a real
Yeah,
life
I don't have
standpoint,
anyone.
it's wild how important this game is for both teams.
It is.
But fantasy wise, I don't want to start anybody in this game. Period.
Speaking of another important game.
Excluding
We've got
nobody.
look what I embody. We've got another interesting one. Washington at San Francisco, bro. Washington coming off that loss.
Is this interesting?
um,
I'll just
yeah,
say,
it
is this game
is.
interesting? Why?
Washington is in the number 7 spot for playoffs. They have to win. They have to win. The Giants have the tiebreaker and the game up. They have to win. They legit need 2 wins out of these last 3 to make playoffs, I think.
Okay. What
You don't
makes
think they're getting
this?
them. You don't think they're getting them. Listen,
Why do we got
playoff
to
run,
keep
man.
acting? Why do we got to keep acting like Taylor Heineke doesn't suck?
It might be
I
Wentz,
just
yo.
want somebody to explain to me. No. It's Heineke.
Wentz
Rivera's
might be
already
on the
said
way
that.
though, right?
I mean, he's
The
healthy.
last thing I
He's
saw with
healthy.
last thing I saw with Rivera, he was like, uh, basically it was Heineke the guy a couple weeks ago, and now it's like we're still gonna go with Heineke, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
it honestly came off as if Heineke don't get it done this week, we're going to revisit this next week. That's how I
Right.
read it. I think they're going to revisit this next week because that San Francisco defense.
Oh my
This isn't
god,
even about Heineke. That defense and that
that
defensive
defense.
rush, that front
Nick
seven is
Bosa is
ridiculous. He's defense player of the year.
I think so, right?
He's defense
Nick
player of the
Nick
year.
Nick Bosa is different, bro. Nick Bosa
He's
is
defense
different.
player of the year. Um,
Uh,
but the other thing is Heineke's not good.
no.
He's not the
Um,
worst. He's not the worst, but he's not good. But for Washington, I think you are starting Brian Robinson. If you have
I
Terry McLaurin, you are starting Terry McLaurin
Robinson, I'm not starting.
because the defense is so good,
Yes,
or because you think they're going to go away from the run. Because I would like to
because
think they learned their lesson and they're going to give him the ball 20 times no matter what. That's what I
I
think.
think they
'Cause I think
have
that's
to
the only
go.
reason
I
they
think
can't
they're
win
just going
this
to be
game
running
if they are going.
right.
If they do not run the ball a total of, let's call it 32 total times in this game,
Hmm.
they cannot win. That's
Right.
where I stand on this. They
I
cannot win.
don't think they're going to be close. I don't think the 49ers have enough of an efficient offense that I think they can be up 2 touchdowns at the end of the first
Curtis,
quarter.
that 2 turnover Purdy game is coming.
It's coming,
I truly believe that. No, I think it's coming
but
this week. But I still
just
think they're so much
get
better. The
McCaffrey
game
to
still
rock.
won't be interesting.
Get McCaffrey to rock. He looks unbelievable. This is the McCaffrey everybody drafted 1 overall over Taylor over everybody. This is he's gotten here and he's been unlocked by Shanahan, bro. This is the McCaffrey. This is Luke Cafferty Friday Night Lights. He looks unbelievable.
Luke Caffrey had to go to the Marines because Coach Eric Taylor ain't shit. We'll move on.
I didn't mean
We
I
will move
didn't
on.
mean Luke
We will
wasn't
we will move
balling.
on. Nah,
Luke was balling.
McCaffrey went to Stanford, Palo Alto.
He did.
You know, he got to go to the Heisman ceremony. He finished second. That ain't what he wanted, but he got to go to the ceremony.
Yeah. Makes Purdy
Luke
or Mayfield?
Cafferty,
The answer is
nah, Luke
Purdy.
Cafferty got to
Purdy.
build a fence
He
with
did.
like broken ribs, and
He
then
did.
had to go join the Marines.
He did.
Eric Taylor didn't give a damn about that dude.
Luke Cafferty might have been he was the best running back and best linebacker in Texas.
In the state of Texas, and somehow nobody visits him. He got the best two-way player in the state for the state champions. This little poor school. He's the white kid who carried the black school to state, and nobody wanted to recruit this dude. Eric Taylor is the worst. Eric Taylor, he ain't send a text message on Luke's behalf. Because
But
imagine
Eric
how
Taylor
quickly.
couldn't listen.
No, no, no.
Eric Taylor couldn't even get
You hit
himself
up
a job
UTEP.
though.
No, no, no. You hit up UTEP. You hit up UTEP, and you're like, "Hey, we got this running back and this linebacker all in one. You decide what you want to do with them." But he helped lead us to state. It's like, okay, yeah. And his people, good people. They're farmers, real salt
They
of the earth
are
type. And
good
then you're like,
people,
you hit him with the Elvis line, and he's white.
and he's he's getting offers from everywhere, bro.
From everywhere.
Everywhere.
Eric
Alabama's on his
Taylor,
doorstep right
Eric
now. Like
Taylor didn't send a single text message, but you had drunk ass Riggs. He driving him to San Antonio. He trying to get
San
Riggs
Antonio
hooked up.
State. San
Man,
Antonio State.
he was about to bench this dude because he had to build a fence for his father.
Come
It
on,
wasn't
man.
Coach Taylor's idea for everybody to help. That was the teammates' idea.
Oh, I'm
Coach Taylor,
crying laughing.
low key, he's the worst.
He's a
He's the
bad human.
worst.
Bad human.
And Connie Britton was too fine for him too.
She really
Yeah, I'm
was.
gonna throw that too. I'm gonna throw that
Connie
out there
Britton
too.
was too fun. She really was. She really was. What show was she in? Nashville? I watched 8 episodes of that Nashville show because Connie was out there.
She's in first season of White Lotus, man. I binged that this weekend. She was
I
looking
haven't
good.
peeped White Lotus yet, man.
She
White
was.
Lotus sounds like
I
a
don't know
murder
what the hell
show.
that show is. I won't even talk about it. I don't know what the hell that show is. It was entertaining, but I don't. I watched the
San
full
Francisco
season. I don't
side,
know what the fuck I watched.
I'm not buying the George Kittle thing. George Kittle he caught 2 passes, and then there was terrible tackling and terrible defense around him. So that happened.
But they schemed
Um,
him open on that touchdown, which is something that I think is interesting in Bears watching
that's
because
fair.
they made it a
That's
point to
fair.
make him the top target as they were approaching the red zone. I think that is something worth looking at. If you have Kittle, you're not benching him. I just wouldn't expect him to score a touchdown, but you're not benching him. I don't think
The
you're
Ayuk
benching him.
thing. The Ayuk thing,
I don't feel good about it.
I don't either. I don't either. Like
Like
when Debo's there, he wasn't going to see any other state. Like McCaffrey and Debo take all
but
the
it
attention
wasn't just that. He had a connection with Jimmy.
with Jimmy. Yeah,
Jimmy
Jimmy.
is gone.
That's fair.
It hasn't looked great without Jimmy. I'm not playing him in a semi. Look, in a semifinal, I'm going about this like, if I lose, is this the sort of thing I'm going to regret all offseason?
Right.
I just don't want to be filled with regret at the end of the season. I want to be like, look, if I lost playing my best, and my best just wasn't good enough on that week. Cool, I could live with that.
I think that's fair.
But if I do some stuff that I think doesn't really make sense, and then I lose because of it, that's going to eat at me. Like the Waddle thing pisses me off, but I feel okay because the news done told me it was going to snow during the game, the entire game. I just went with the information I was given, and I've rode with it.
So, are you going to wait for
it
this
is what
game
it
to
is.
last, or are you ready for Philly?
No. I'm not stressing this game because I don't think Dallas is catching Philly for the division regardless. And without Hurts there, I don't think this is the appropriate litmus test for the Dallas Cowboys. Some would say that if the Dallas Cowboys lose, that means they're done. I know that they play down to their competition all the time, and it would not shock me if they come out flat thinking, well, Hurts ain't around, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This Dallas team is weird. I'm not nervous about this game. I really don't give a damn. If we happen to lose this game, it just means we're going to rest people the last couple weeks, which we probably should. Being able to rest people that are a little banged up
It matters.
There's something that comes from that. So I'm not going to lose sleep on Christmas Eve over the Dallas Football Cowboys. I just refuse to do it. So as far as starting, Philly, funny enough, I'm starting everybody I would normally start with Hurts, which feels weird because Minshew is obviously not as good as Hurts by any stretch.
He hasn't played one game, but every time he plays well. He does a good job.
He played against Dallas last year, and he played pretty decently. He played against this Dallas team last year. I want to say it was week 16 or week 17.
He did.
It was somewhere in there. It was week 16. Okay. And he played pretty well.
He did.
I like everybody a little bit less as far as the receivers. So I don't think that A.J. Brown has that top 5 ceiling. I don't think that Devontae has a top 10 to 12 ceiling. But I think they're both going to be productive enough. I love like Dallas Goedert this week.
Personally.
I love Dallas Goedert.
I like Goedert a lot. I don't like Sanders this week.
We can't stop the run. We can't stop the run. Our best run-stuffing defensive tackle is gone. look, I scoffed the Jonathan Hankins pickup, but his pickup has actually been huge for Dallas, and I'm very sad that he's hurt now.
Okay.
his pickup was actually really big because he could do one thing that nobody else could do: just hold up blockers and let Van Der Esch go hunt. But
Is
now
Miles
you have
Sanders
the
the
guy who
type of running back that's gonna hurt you guys though?
he's hurt us before. There's
That's
no
fair.
reason to think he can't.
Okay.
Now, part of why he hurt us in the first game was playing that read option with Hurts. So obviously that's out in any meaningful way. The thing is, Miles Sanders doesn't catch balls out of the backfield really, which is weird because he actually has good hands. So I'm not sure why they don't use him in that capacity. But if you're telling me before the game that they're going to go, all right, we're going to give it to Miles 20 times, I think he'll go well over 100 yards if he gets the ball consistently.
Okay. Um, on the Dallas side, Philly's defense is good, but you can score on Philly. You can absolutely score on Philly.
Philly's defense is good, but it is not quite as good as I think everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, I
Philly
agree
had
there.
the thing about Philly is they have a really good front four and two really good corners. So everybody says they have a dominant pass rush. It's like no, they have a really good front four that's really
Right.
balanced and able to do things, but it's not necessarily they don't ever need to blitz sort of pass rush. In the secondary, they have these awesome corners and they have good safeties, not great safeties. They can be beat. Where you really beat Philly, this is a Dalton Schultz game. Dalton Schultz is going to have a huge game this week. He needs to if Dallas is going to win because the middle of the field is where you beat Philly. If you try
His
to get outside the numbers, if you try to get
last
outside
two
the numbers,
Philly
it's a wrap.
games, I think he's got 4 touchdowns against Philly in the last like 2 or 3 games. And
He plays
Dak
really
knows
well
this.
in the division.
He
He
does.
plays really
He
the
does. He
thing I
kills
will
us.
for all the shit that Dallas fans give Kellen Moore, and I do it as well. Kellen Moore has a really good understanding of those division opponents. Like that's
I
the
agree.
one thing that he really has a very
I
very
agree.
good understanding of those division opponents and where to attack them.
Dallas loses to Philly, and they don't really play around with the Giants or Washington. They really don't. Like we haven't beaten them forever. Washington can't really walk with them. They smoked Washington twice. Well, once this year. They play them and ended like they're going to beat them again. Just because
Hey, Cooper
I think they
Rush
game
smoked
plan
them.
well.
Cooper Rush smoked Washington.
They
So
smoked them that game. Um,
okay,
but
okay,
CD, you're going to
my
play.
computer just started talking to me. Google thought I was talking to her, so that was weird. All right, my apologies.
Nah. I'm over here. They got Jaguars on the 1 yard line. Little Trevor QB sneak. Don't sound bad, man. 8:15 on Christmas Day. Word to Franco Harris. What up? What up, Franco? Um, we've got the Steelers hosting the Raiders, and I'm thinking because Pickett's back, I don't know what I feel about Deontay because Trubisky and Deontay's a must start with Trubisky. Trubisky just looks for him. He makes the throws
He's a
there.
target
Pickett,
monster. He's a target
Pickett and
monster.
Pickens have a thing. I think Fryermuth that zero from Fryermuth smoked a lot of people last week, which is terrible. I think Fryermuth is
Oh,
back
oh,
because
oh!
Pickett had
My my terrible my terrible team that's still playing. I got
yeah
Friday too, and somehow it didn't matter. I won by 100 points, dude. What I'm trying to tell you that I was working last week. I was working, baby.
a
I'm sorry.
zero
I'm
from
very proud
Fryermuth
of
was
that team.
nuts.
I had a
You
zero
should
from
be dog.
Friday in the
What?
middle of all of that. In the middle of all
Zero
that,
from Fryermuth
zero.
is crazy. Um, I think that rectifies itself because
His,
Pickett likes the tight end and he likes
however,
Pickens.
one thing with the Friday thing, his snap count has gone down
Yeah,
considerably over the last couple of weeks.
yeah.
That is concerning. But at the position of tight end, you're not going to really find a better option unless if that Tennessee tight end, the rookie whose name I am not going to try to pronounce right now, if he's available, I might pick him up and I might give it some thought. But then again, you have Malik Willis, so I don't think that you're going to have a waiver claim that is worth benching Fryermuth. But I don't feel great about him this week, mostly
Trevor
because
Lawrence rushing touchdown.
hey, good shit.
Uh,
Zach Wilson
um,
sucks. Zach
he's
Wilson's
gonna.
so garbage. He's so trash. I'm so sad. McSorley was right there.
Trevor, yo, listen, Zach. Zach is going. We can finish with Zach because I got some Zach thoughts. We got some
That dude
things we talked about earlier
sucks.
that I do want to
He's
bring up.
trash, man.
Raiders. We talked about Derek Carr earlier. I don't like Carr at all this week. Um, I
I
don't.
love Josh Jacobs. I
Josh
can't say it
Jacobs
strongly
might.
enough.
I
I
feel like
love Josh
other
Jacobs
than
this week.
McCaffrey, I put Josh Jacobs in that Henry range of he can go off for 203 touch. Like he's going to just
So
he's going to have a
he's
ball.
he's not going to get to 2,000. He's not going to get there. Like I don't even want to put that. I heard it mentioned he's not going to get there. I think that he really wants that rushing title. Like I think
I
he
agree.
legitimately wants that rushing title. And I think that the Raiders coaching staff is going to give him every opportunity to go get it.
I think so too. Which brings me to Devonte Adams. Last 2 weeks, a total of, I mean, he's got 16 targets in 2 weeks, which is not enough for a guy like
I'm not
Devonte
benching him.
Adams.
I'm not benching him.
No, 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 no. Of course not. But
Do I feel good about it? No, I don't feel good about any Raiders
I
other
don't
than
feel
Josh
good.
Jacobs.
I
That's
feel the
where I am.
same
I
way.
don't feel good. I don't feel good
On
about
the other
any
side,
Raiders other than Josh
I don't feel
Jacobs.
good about any Steelers. Like Jalen Warren started to assert himself to where that Najee thing is starting to break down into some things. Like it's just
I don't.
things are
I don't want to
going.
play
It's
either of them.
weird. It's a weird feel
I
going on.
I'm
Yeah,
probably playing Deontay at a flex. Like if I have him in a league, I'm probably playing him at a flex. I don't think I'm playing anybody else from Pittsburgh.
yeah. Um,
Najee, if you're
Christmas Day,
desperate, like if you just don't have the running back depth, I
you got to
guess.
do it.
But
Yeah, Christmas Day, we've got three games, man.
man, blood. I'm not watching football on Christmas. Christmas is a basketball day. My daughter wants to go to the movies to see
You
some
got
blue
Lakers
things
Mavericks.
fight in the water.
Lakers Mavericks on Christmas Day, right?
The Mavericks are 16-16 because Mark Cuban is incompetent. I will be at
Luca
the
is
movies during that game.
Luca's
I
wasting
will
away.
be I will be at the movies watching blue things fight in water because that's what my daughter wants to do. I don't really have interest in such things, but such is life. It's
What can you
Christmas.
do?
I'll be at the
Green Bay
movies.
at Green Bay at Miami. I
The
love
best of the
playing
three
Green.
games. Like, can they just switch that to the night game? Like, why is
Please.
that starting the day off?
Why? Green Bay at Miami. I love Tua. I love Hill. Love Waddle. I like Mostert. Mostert looked good last week. Jeff Wilson's back. I think it's going to eat into Mostert
I,
some, but I still like Mostert.
I just want to say this. This isn't fantasy related. Green Bay is going to win this game. I think Green Bay might take that 7 seed,
Do
and I
you
don't know what to do
really?
about it. I think that Green Bay might take that 7 seed. I really, it would be the most Aaron Rodgers shit ever to somehow get in at 7 and then go beat San Francisco in the
And
two
then go
seed
beat
because
San
it's still
Fran.
Brock. But,
Yep.
but here's the thing, and then also go beat Philly and then
No,
lose to like
the
no.
Giants.
Then also beat Philly and then lose to the Vikings in the championship game. And this terrible Vikings team that nobody trusts goes to the Super Bowl
Nah,
because the league is random, because the game is rigged,
nah.
and none of us
Green
will
Bay
ever
has
be
to win out.
happy.
Green Bay
And
has to win out.
I think they can. I'm
I
not
think
saying that I would
Miami's.
put money on it.
I've got Miami smoking Green Bay.
Not smoking them. They look.
I've got Miami smoking. Miami's back at
Look,
home, and you can throw on Green Bay. You can throw
you
that thing
can.
around on Green Bay.
You can. You
And we
can.
got
You
Tyreek
can.
and Waddle just running
You
around
can.
back there.
That's fine. That's fine. I think. Look, I'm not trying to make it out to be like Tua has been figured out. He is a good quarterback. I think the book is kind of out there on how you slow Tua down. And I really, really like what this Green Bay offense looks like when they look. I think Aaron Jones is better than AJ Dillon, but I like the
Yep.
Green Bay offense more when they lean on AJ Dillon, and it just has
Okay.
that physical nature to like just wear on people. It's that time of year. Just wear on
Yep.
people, and you have a
Yep.
250-pound battering ram back there. Look, it just it could be that I just can't bet against Rodgers. I just don't want to bet against Rodgers. Miami should win this game. Everything that you were
Right.
saying should be correct.
You just
I
got to
just got a
feel.
feeling
I
about Green
understand.
Bay.
Just got to
Just a
feel.
feeling. Just a feeling. That's
Christian
all.
Watson. Aaron Rodgers
Mm.
basically told him you run routes stupid. That's why you didn't score touchdowns. I hate Aaron Rodgers. He's the worst. Um, but I guess but you're gonna play Watson because he's the most talented guy they have there, and that's it.
I'm starting both running backs. I'm starting both running backs this week.
Both of them. Okay.
I'm starting both of them.
This middle game is Denver at the Rams.
Ew.
After you,
Ew. Ew.
after you, my guy. You know
All right,
what? I'm playing
I'm gonna
Latavius
name.
Murray.
No. I'm gonna name all the players that didn't he miss practice today?
Latavius? I think he's gonna
I'm
play.
pretty sure he missed. All right, I'm gonna name all the players from this game that I would play for both sides.
Ready? The night game on Christmas is Tampa Bay at Arizona. Um,
Which is slightly less gross, but still gross.
I think this is a sneaky good Fournette game because they're just gonna run like he's got a baseline of targets.
They
They
can't
throw
run
the
the
ball to him
ball.
5, 6 times.
They can't run the ball.
Arizona can't stop the run, so something's got to give.
Yes, and I think that Arizona's going to suddenly look like a better run defense.
I think you start Brady. I think you can
I do
get.
like Brady. I love
I think
Godwin
you can
this week.
get two
I
fifty and two touchdowns.
love
Oh
Godwin this week.
gosh,
I love
Godwin's the type
Godwin
of
this week.
guy who's good. Yeah, yeah. This
I
is like an
love Godwin
11
this week.
for like 131 and touchdown Godwin type
If
of
Mike
game.
Evans doesn't score this week, I'm ready to really start considering whether that you just drop him from your lineup. Like, why are you still playing this dude? Like, it's
It's
like
weird.
he's too good to put on the bench,
It's weird
but
what's
he
going on with
hasn't
him.
produced.
It's weird what's going on with him. Julio engaged. No. On the other side, we are looking at James Conner and
Yeah, starting
Hopkins
him
because he's too good to not play him. Other than that, don't get it's no. Hopkins is
with
just too good. Like I
McSorley.
don't
Is it really?
Hopkins.
Is it really not
He's
even a
just too good
consideration with
not to play
McSorley?
him. Who are you gonna bench Hopkins for?
I don't know,
It's
man.
Hopkins. It's Hopkins. He's
Yeah.
too good not to play
Oh,
at
wait,
least. Like
wait. What's McSorley's first name? What's his first name?
Trace.
Ah, so I so at some point it was mentioned recently. I thought they said tray, and I was like, they make white trays, and
They don't.
I just was thinking it to myself.
You
I
know
just wanted to
what?
make
They
sure.
do make white trays because I'm a dude who watched Laguna Beach in season 1. They had a dude named Trey on Laguna Beach. They did, yo. Laguna Beach, sneaky good little show. And the Hills. The Hills is better than Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach season 2, sneaky little show, man. Kristen Cavallari, top 5 heel ever in MTV history.
Yeah,
Like,
be cute does not condone the statements made by Alan McPherson.
oh yes,
I
you
do
do.
not
Nah,
condone these
listen,
statements.
listen. Oh,
I do
okay,
not. That
okay,
is all from his side
okay.
of the
It's not a
screen.
safe spot. It's not a safe spot. You're not a fan
Nah,
of
look. For all I know, those shows are fire. I've never
good little
watched a
show,
single
man.
episode of any of them. Like
Laguna
I've never
Beach is a good
watched
little
any
show,
of
man.
any of them. So I don't want to shit on them, but I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Yeah,
Laguna
I
Beach, all
think I'm
right,
good.
man. I never
That's
led you
cool.
astray. Laguna Beach, kind of hot, yo.
That's cool. That's
We
cool.
end this we end this with the Monday night game. Like I feel like don't even have a Monday night game this weekend. Just put it all and just give us a free Monday night at this point. Let us just recover from the horrible. But we got the
I
Chargers
actually
at.
really didn't want Sunday night football this week. Like y'all
Yeah, that's
already
fair. Chargers at
whatever.
the Colts. Um,
Um,
Here's what Colts I'm starting, and then I'm starting all my Chargers that I would normally start.
does that include Josh Palmer still, or is
It
his
does.
ride kind of ended? Okay, fair
It
enough.
does. It does
I'm
in this
not
game.
positive on Palmer. I'm not positive on
It
Palmer.
does in this game.
I'm starting Keenan and Mike, obviously. Eckler, obviously. Herbert, obviously. Are people still starting Gerald Everett? I really haven't
I
even
don't know.
kept tabs recently.
I
I
don't
feel
know
like that all
really.
fell off.
I feel
Um,
like it did. The reason I'm starting Palmer, there are so many terrible weather games that like you don't have Olave, he's out. You don't have Landry, he's out. You've
that's
got
fair.
a Gabe Davis type of guy in this super cold windy game. Like he's a guy who you want to get the ball too deep. You're not going to. in this
Actually,
type of
wait.
game.
Rewind to the Colts. I am starting Michael Pittman. I love Pittman this week. Love. Capital L. Love Pittman this week.
I've got to see something
Pittman,
from Foles.
Pittman is going to get 12 targets. One thing Foles is good for is figuring out who is his best dude and just throwing it to him and lot. They might not be accurate throws. They might not be on time. They might not be thinking the same route. But those balls are going to come out to whoever his number one receiver is.
That's fair.
I love look if I think that Pittman is going to get 12 targets and catch 6 of them, let's say he catches 6 for 65. I'm good with that.
Okay.
So I'm starting Pittman because I think his
All right.
ceiling is something like 10 for 120 and a touchdown. Like I think he has
Fair
a
enough.
higher ceiling than he's had in a while. Because Matt
Fair
Ryan
enough.
is cooked. We know he is cooked. We only
Ooh, the
think
rain is starting
Nick
to come
Foles is cooked.
down at MetLife.
We only Zach Wilson. Yeah, let's end
Rain
this
is
shit
starting to
soon,
come
man.
down at
Yeah,
MetLife.
let's end this
Woo,
shit soon because
Lord.
I'm about to get irritated with myself
Um,
because this is so stupid. This dude
yeah, basically
trash,
that's it.
dude. This dude
Well,
sucks.
you know what? Speaking of Zach Wilson, who is the Jets QB? I want to end here because the Giants. We doing all right.
Because
One more win.
we were
Please
because
give
we were
me
talking
playoff.
about this week. Because we were
Yes,
talking
please
about it,
give
and
me
you thought that
playoff
I was
football, Giants.
BSing. All right,
Please, Giants,
so
give me playoff
my
football.
my
But who is
going
the Jets
theory
quarterback?
is next year or next week.
Week 1.
Week 1 next year, I think Lamar Jackson is quarterback in the New York Jets. That's what I legitimately think. What I think is the Ravens are going to franchise him. They're going to
Okay.
franchise him. They're going to make an offer. Lamar's finally going to put his foot down and say, "I'm not showing up until you pay me. I'm not showing up to shit."
I'm not doing it.
I don't give a shit if it's a Make-A-Way Foundation. They better go through my charity. I'm not showing up anywhere with Ravens gear until y'all pay me. And then, because officially he will not be signed, the Jets can negotiate with him. And the Jets are going to put out a number that's going to be fucking bonkers. Bonkers. At which Lamar will say, "You need to pay this or I'm not coming." And the Ravens are going to say, "Hey, Lamar, why don't you take this?" And he's going to say, "I don't think you're feeling me. I'm not showing up." At which point, the Jets will then call and say, "Look, we tired of the bullshit. We'll send you 2 firsts to get this done. You can have Wilson if you want him."
Okay.
And I think the Ravens will say, "Nah, you keep Wilson. You figure out his cap number. That's not our business, but we'll take the picks."
I have one of those.
I don't think they
San
love
Francisco
Lamar.
quarterbacks
I don't think they love Lamar the way that they say they do, because if they
I don't
did,
think they do either.
this wouldn't have gotten to this point.
He would have been paid.
Just
I
like
think one of those San Francisco quarterbacks is the Jets quarterback week 1. I haven't decided which one yet, but there's 3 guys over there who have looked like, obviously Trey Lance the least amount of anyone.
Mike White has looked fine. Mike White looked fine.
I don't think they're going there with Mike White, B.
I don't either, but you're talking about 3 guys. Do we know that Brock Purdy is better than Mike White? We don't know it.
I guess we don't.
Do we? We certainly don't know with Trey Lance. And Jimmy, hasn't he gotten hurt, like season-ending injury, like 3 of the last 4 years? This Jets team,
Evan Ingram looks like Kellen Winslow Jr. What is going on, bro?
Look, tight ends who go in the first round are generally very, very physically talented. Like, it's not a position that produces first-round talent very often. Evan Ingram's physical talent was never in question. As you said, he couldn't catch the ball. So if he can catch the ball, he's a good player because he is incredibly physically talented.
That's all we got, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us, man.
Hey.
Let him better.
I'm going to play. I hope to play you in a championship with the name Lead and Butter. I will have, man. I wish I grabbed Evan Ingram off of waivers just so I could start him against you. Whoo!
Listen, let's handle business. Let's meet in our final. I need to make this record against you look a little better in finals.
I'm in 3 leagues with you, and unfortunately, you have disappointed me in 2 of them this year.
I'm not
going to get into details.
It's been bad news for me.
You've been I'm like, come on, B.
It was tough.
Come on. And the thing is, so much of your advice has been good all year.
It's been so good.
Follow your own advice. That's what's so wild about it. You don't follow your own advice.
I'm in the semis and the leagues that I followed my advice. And then there's some other nonsense. Like, I don't know, man. But here we are. semifinals week, man. I'm trying to listen. Just get me to these finals,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
gonna be all right, man.
Does Paul have Evan Ingram playing against me as he's posted in the comment
Does
section?
he?
Ain't this a bitch?
Is Paul playing Ingram against you?
I'm literally checking. I thought he had Ingram. I'm pretty
You
sure he
said,
had Ingram.
"Yo, Paul, you
I'm
playing Ingram and then throwing the numbers at him as they as they go up, yo?
Yeah, that's disrespectful as shit. Yeah, he's right
That
on the
what he's
number too.
doing?
Yeah, he is.
Wow,
He is. He
what a
is.
guy,
Yeah,
Christian.
yeah.
What a guy.
All
All
right,
right, man.
yeah, all right.
We appreciate y'all. Merry Christmas, man. Have a beautiful time with your family. Merry Christmas to the
Absolutely.
young daughter of my man. My man's over here. Let her have a beautiful. She's gonna have a wonderful Christmas.
We're gonna talk. Uh, Hopefully, we're headed to finals.
Hopefully, we're heading to finals, man. Hopefully, we're heading to finals. Let's be great. We appreciate y'all always hanging out with us. Merry Christmas. Stay safe out there. Let's go, Trevor Lawrence, baby. Let's go, Trav. Y'all
Zach
be easy, man.
sucks. Zach's trash. This nigga